All right, guys, welcome to the revolution, peaceful, nonviolent revolution. Take back our government from the corrupt donor class that controls it 100% and the disgustingly corrupt mainstream media that runs cover for them. I'm gonna give you updates today, but it is Halloween, so let's have a little bit of fun. What I'm gonna ask you guys to do is write in with who you think is the biggest ghoul or goblin in Washington, D.C. It could be a person, it could be other entities, and then once you've given me a bunch of options, we'll pick what we think are a good four, kind of to the best of our abilities, a top four, and we'll do a poll on it. By the end of the show, you'll know who you guys think is the worst person in Washington on this frightening Halloween night. Okay, and then but as we're doing that, this is a little bit, I don't know that it's tougher. But I'm gonna ask for this anyway. Let's see how many of you guys write in about it. Which is, if we win and we get our government back, and we're no longer serving Lockheed Martin and ExxonMobil and Pfizer and Israel, right? And where the government actually works for American citizens, takes care of American citizens, wouldn't that be amazing? What is the treat that you have? What does it look like to you guys? So the ghoul and goblin is a trick. The treat is, what does America look like after we win and the country's free again? Okay, so somebody wrote in earlier, from the river to the sea, America will be free. But I'm gonna change that a little bit. I like from shining sea to shining sea, America will be free. So, and yeah, I believe we are occupied. We're occupied not just by Israel, but also all the other lobbies that I mentioned. They control our politicians nearly 100%. They're almost all corrupt. And so I'm not interested in their occupation. I don't want a government run by Johnson & Johnson. I want a government run by the American people. Okay, we're gonna, of course, have updates for you guys as we go along too. But speaking of updates, we've got a big one for you guys. So going forward, the revolution or the revolution will have a new YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm still doing it live on the Young Turks main channel, right? So guys, you know, Young Turks is 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, right? We do the news for you guys. And then at 8 o'clock, I'm doing this new show, The Revolution or The Revolution, as you're about to see. And so that's still gonna be live on the main Young Turks channel. And then we often do interviews afterwards. But when we put up the video going forward, we're gonna put it on this new channel. And so let's show you what that is. If we have it, I don't even know if we have it. I might have asked for the graphics too late. No, we don't have it. So it's at so you have to put in then revel, like as in revolution. But instead of the U being a single letter, we made it YOU as in you. Oh. I don't know how corny that is, but it's fun. And then of course TION, so the revolution, okay? So by the way, why did we do that other than being cutesy and dorks? We did it because if you say the revolution, it's like copyrighted to bejesus, like everything. Like then I got to deal with Prince's band, right? But no one has the revolution, so we have that now. And a bunch of you guys have bought up URLs and stuff to help us. Thank you for doing that. I love you guys for doing that. But you're gonna see the videos after the fact, live on the Young Turks and afterwards on the new The Revolution channel. Okay, so now, we're gonna ask you one more Halloween thing and then I'll start to read your comments, the ones you wrote in with new ideas and the ones you're writing in today. So first thing is, we're asking you to haunt your legislators today. Okay, so how are you gonna do that? We already have this tool at TYT where you can write into your congressman, to your representative, and so ask him to do two things. One is endorse populism. That was so easy because like the populist plank is all super popular bills. Even like people faking it will probably say yes. Because it'd be absurd to say no. It's like anti-war, anti-corruption, lower drug prices, lower housing prices, higher wages. I mean, if a politician goes, no, I want lower wages and higher drug prices, I'll give them credit for being honest. But anyways, ask them to do this. It should be super simple for them. Right wing or left wing shouldn't matter. TYT.com/endorse populism. And then the second one is TYT.com/drug prices. So that's the one where we're asking them support Ro Khanna's bill that took Donald Trump's executive order verbatim about making sure that we have the same drug prices as a combination of the other developed nations, so that their American citizens are treated fairly and we're not at a huge disadvantage versus other countries. So again, it should be something that both Democrats and Republicans are in favor of. So use the tool if you can, tyt.com/drug prices, to send your representative a message, haunt them a little bit. Don't be mean, just ask them politely to, but you know what, it's Halloween, okay? Definitely never, ever anything physical, guys, or even threats of or talk of anything physical. But let them know otherwise that you'd like lower drug prices and you can't quite understand why they wouldn't. Is that a weird thing where the congressional people are like, oh, a bill to lower drug prices? Well, where the drug companies would still make an enormous profit, but the Americans would get this, would only spend as much as the French instead of paying 4 times as much or 20 times as much. No, I want higher drug prices. And that's what almost all of Congress is saying now. So call their bluff, call them out, okay? Again, politely to largely, okay? All right, so now already, before I get to the ideas from today, people have already started suggesting ghouls and goblins. Kay Wallace suggests Caroline Levitt. I'm reading this from our members at tyt.com. Yeah, she's the White House spokesperson, sure, I get it. John says, anyone who doesn't say Stephen Miller is just wrong. The real question is, who's number 3 after number 2, which is Steve Bannon, okay? A very strong opinion there. Lou B backs him up and goes, Stephen Batboy Miller. I'm not saying anything, that's just what they wrote. Aces Kind of Dragon says, Mike Johnson by far, he's a fake Christian and will this day step closer to expiration date. By the way, those are our members. We're a left-wing populist show, so they're gonna name mainly right-wingers, and the right-wingers are in charge now and doing a lot of questionable things. But if you're right-wing, libertarian, independent, whatever you are, you wanna write in a Democrat, by all means, okay? Joe South says, Mike, Speaker of the awful guy. Speaker of the House, awful guy. Pseudo Dragon says, Cenk is just stealing garbage people now. It's funny. Yeah, that's John's segment on Damage Report, which you should check out every day at 1 o'clock Eastern. Magnetize Me Culture says, cyclical Oswald Spengler. I have no idea what that means, but probably some of you do. Moonshine Dragon says, Gould, Trump, Stephen Miller, Mike Johnson. So we're putting Stephen Miller on the board as one of the 4 options because that's kind of overwhelming. We'll fill in the other 3. The other people you mentioned are in the running, but I don't want to prejudge right now. Okay, so I'll read more of you guys' comments from YouTube and all the other places we're on, Twitch, Super Chat, as we go along too, and we'll fill out the rest. Okay, so now, you guys have been doing amazing things because we're crowdsourcing the revolution, and Mark designed a shirt for us. So he writes in, and his handle is My Political Migraine, and it's Mark Propotnik. That's a fun name, Mark. I've had this idea for a while and finally got around to designing it. I would love to see you guys sell it on Shop TYT as part of the Free Palestine collection, and I'm gladly donating the vector file to resize or modify however you'd like. It's the least I could do since pausing my membership because of being unemployed from the tech industry for over a year. By the way, using Bezos bucks through my mother-in-law so you guys can get some dough. Well, Mark, you're amazing, brother. Thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, look at you looking out for everybody else while you're going through hard times. So, and guys, don't worry, when you go to tyt.com/prime, he doesn't have to pay for it, his mother-in-law doesn't have to pay for it. That's if you already have Amazon Prime, you could send us $5 a month from Jeff Bezos' pocket to us. Takes about 30 seconds, tyt.com/prime. Doesn't cost you anything. So I appreciate you, Mark. But anyway, let's show you his design. So it says, Palestine occupies my heart. It's got the Palestinian flag, kind of in the shape of a heart. Love it. So I'll talk to the thugs at shoptyt.com to see if we can add that to the collection. If you like the shirt, let us know. If you're interested in buying the shirt, let us know. Again, the proceeds go to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Doesn't go to us as part of Free Palestine collection there. But beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna tell you a real quick story, guys, that I actually found out recently. I didn't know this and felt a little embarrassed that I didn't know this. You know the sign for the Palestinians is watermelon, and People often use the watermelon emoji to represent Palestinians. So I knew that, of course, a lot of you know that. But what I didn't know is why. So it turns out that the Israelis, in their brutal occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, had banned the Palestinian flag. And if anybody put up the Palestinian flag, they would arrest them and oftentimes torture them, beat them, and sometimes kill them. So then Palestinian artists started doing this super cool thing where they would start painting in the colors of the Palestinian flag. So white, black, red, and green, but predominantly black, red, and green. And so eventually the Israelis figured that out and they started destroying all of the art. And they said, if you paint in black, red, and green, we'll arrest you and maybe kill you, etc. Right? So then, as they were destroying one of the art galleries, one of the Israeli commanders said, if you so much as draw a watermelon, we'll come and bury you. And the Palestinians took that on as their symbol. Why? They said, it's okay, bury us. What you don't realize is we're seeds. We're just gonna grow and there's going to be more of us. And we're never going to surrender to you. So it's a beautiful story, and that's why watermelon is their symbol. And so for those of you who have grown up with mainstream media propaganda for Israel, and they've brainwashed the whole country on behalf of Israel, you never heard those stories. Did you, growing up, did you ever hear in ABC or CBS or any of these stations or CNN, oh yeah, the Israelis will brutalize you if you even draw the colors of the Palestinian flag in a different painting? That they're smashing artists' work, and they won't allow you to do anything that represents your own people because they despise the Palestinians. The idea for them of a Palestinian being free. I saw a video today of some lunatic pro-Israel radical. I mean, they look like normal people, right? They both look like they're wealthy women from some urban environment. I don't know. I may say urban like New York, LA, some sort of like, they looked upper class, bottom line, right? So my point is they look normal. They look like they're regular Americans. And they started talking about how we might have to flee and run for our lives here as Jewish Americans. I'm like, what? They, in their lunatic mind, they really believe they're the biggest victims in the world, and they have no power in America. No, if you're pro-Israel, oh, you're besieged, you're the victim. I mean, it's maniacal. Okay, but that's not why I brought it up. That's normal. In the middle of their little spiel, they said, oh, I can't believe it. They're now allowing people to say free Palestine. And they're like, that's so anti-Semitic. So wait, freeing another people is anti-Semitic? I mean, their bigotry knows no bounds. And that's why one of the first projects we started here is the kidsofpalestine.com, kidsofpalestine.com. That one already exists. And I went to it the other day, and there's this beautiful, can we pull it up? I don't know if we can pull it up. There's this just precious little girl. And then I saw her picture. This is that was the point of what we were trying to do. Please don't send our money, hard-earned American taxpayer dollars, to go kill these kids. It's disgusting, right? And can we please free America from this control over this tyrannical, ludicrous Israeli government? So anyway, and we do kidsofpalestine.com because, like I said, we don't want our money going to that. And it's one thing to say 20,000 kids have been killed by Israel. It's another thing to show you the kids and for you to see it and go, oh my God, what did they do to that poor girl? There's right now, we do one of the campaigns we're doing is hashtag free our child, because Marco Rubio won't tell the Israelis to give us back a 16-year-old American kid from Florida. They basically kidnapped him. He's lost 30% of his weight. He's in disastrous shape. He might die in that prison. They say that he looked at someone else throwing a stone. That's a crime? Well, but the Israeli soldiers, they say they have witnesses. Well, those witnesses also someone throw a stone. Are they in an Israeli gulag now? No, they're beloved, cherished Israeli citizens. They're allowed to do anything they like. That was a useless American citizen. No, send their American away. And Rubio won't even ask for him back. He's like, no, No, I don't care. He's just an American. It's sick, man. It's disgusting. So hashtag free our child. All right, there it is. So they've started adding more and more kids. I remember when the first 3 or 4 got put up there, and Mohammed Ibrahim is up there. He's from the West Bank. Most of those are kids that died in Gaza. Go to kidsofpalestine.com. See if you can stomach clicking on 2 or 3 pictures and reading their stories. They take money out of your check every week to send over to Israel to commit these atrocities. So there's Mohammed Ibrahim. And by the way, you can share on social media. We didn't build this, you guys built this. This is what crowdsourcing looks like. So I know we got some updates from Arpan. Oh, he says, so Arpan is helping with corruptionwatch.us, which is about tracking all of our legislators and all their bills and all their donors. And he said, so Kids of Palestine is already up, but corruptionwatch.us is probably gonna go live over the weekend, if not by Monday, and we'll certainly tell you about it. So make sure you're checking out that as well. And oh, by the way, we got you guys asked us to check to reach out to Palestine Children's Relief Fund, and we did. And next week they're going to start partnering with us on kidsofpalestine.com. I also asked CARE, that's the largest Muslim American civil rights group, to see if they can help put up more kids. So I love all the beautiful work you guys are doing. Okay, more people. I'm going to come back to more ideas in progress, but more people have written in with potential folks that are ghouls and goblins on Twitch. Broken Wing Dragon says Ted Cruz could qualify as some kind of nasty amoeba on a flea. I'm taking that as a nomination for Ted Cruz. BB Junkie says, are we only choosing ghouls from the US? I would choose Benjamin Netanyahu if we're choosing from outside the US. Well, I said in Washington, DC, and I don't know anyone more relevant in Washington than Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, he runs the place. So I guess I'll accept that as a possibility for ghoul and goblin. Next TYT reporter says he's less ghoulish now, but he's the ghoul that got us to where we are. I'm voting Mitch McConnell. Christopher Richard writes in, not a fan of Pam Bondi, Lindsey Graham, Schumer, or AOC. Hard to say who's the worst. That's an interesting group of people to be against, right? Look at how we've got political realignment all over the place. The 4 people he named as the bad guys are Pam Bondi, Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer, and AOC. Before, you never had that. Everybody was in their camps. Bonnie Lambrecht says they're all ghouls, but the worst is Miller and Vaught. Vaught is the guy running Project 2025. Oscar Sevilla writes in, I'm an independent. I'll add Cory Booker and AIPAC Shakur. It's hard not to put AIPAC in there. So that's not AIPAC as in the lobby, that's Charlemagne the God's nickname for Hakeem Jeffries. So, all right. I'll add one more, almost, we're gonna run out of time here. I'll add Mitch McConnell, he's been mentioned a couple of times. So now we have for sure Stephen Miller and Mitch McConnell. We'll find 2 more and then vote, okay? So keep on writing in on tyt.com, on YouTube, on Super Chat, on Twitch, wherever you can. All right, more updates. And by the way, at the end for the members, I'm gonna do a bonus episode for you guys. I'll tell fun Halloween stories, okay? Liberty Isn't Free proposed a URL for us saying, I wonder if it would help to have a tyt.com/revolution as a catch-all landing page, which can house all the different sites related to this initiative. It would also help when trying to socialize to others. You're right, we're throwing a lot of URLs at you, right? So we say the main one that we organize around is tyt.com/hope, but we'll consider this and we'll get back to you next week. Good thinking, I love it. Eclectic wants to call out groups that are targeting other people. So he wrote in, call out pro-Israel groups like Canary Mission who are targeting hosts and others who dare speak out against Israel's genocide. Gather information about them without doxing anyone to expose what they're doing to harass and ruin people's lives. This could be via social media, post a segment on air, a website, or part of a website. I can help. It probably would be best to crowdsource or for someone else to take the lead. People will find out that Israel supporters are using terrorism to support a terrorist regime. They are not the victims. They are terrorizing people who are standing up for the victims. So I kind of love that idea, but with the heavy caveat of do not do what Canary Mission does. Don't dox people, don't put out their home addresses, don't do any of that, okay? But if one of you has a good idea on how to organize outing the Canary Mission people, because I don't know who they are. They keep smearing everyone. They've smeared Anna, me, just about everyone who opposes Israel as anti-Semites. And what they do is they then rile up a bunch of people thinking that we're anti-Jewish, and then the most radical of the Israeli crowd that follows Canary Mission then threatens to murder people, stalks them, and does all sorts of disgusting things to terrorize American citizens who are criticizing Israel. So who are they? Who's Canary Mission? No one in media looks, because they're like, oh no, beloved Israel, we serve you loyally. Canary Mission, you're free to do anything you want. Terrorize Americans at will. No, you're not the problem. The people you're trying to terrorize are the problem. Therefore, against genocide? How terrible and disgusting. Beautiful Canary Mission, no one find out about them. No, Canary Mission is a disgusting organization, and I would love to know who's running it and who's funding it. So don't make anything public yet, like I said, because there might be good people who are working there accidentally or something. I don't know. So I don't know how we're going to find it, and I don't know how we're going to out it. But why do we have to crowdsource media? But because mainstream media that has billions and billions of dollars will never, ever look into Israel's crimes, their crimes here, and trying to control all of us through politics and media, etc. So we got to do it ourselves, and we don't have the billions of dollars that mainstream media does. So, but we have you guys, and so look at all the amazing things you've already created. So if you could, some of you guys out there can tell us how to crowdsource this so that we could find out who's funding Canary Mission to terrorize Americans opposed to Israel, that would be amazing. All right, Roger Pugalis, thank you for joining. TYT, TMB, you as well. You guys are amazing. We love you for it. So let me see if I've got any other candidates. Otherwise, because we got to do the poll here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'll put Chuck Schumer as the Democrat because a couple of you guys mentioned him, and then somebody mentioned Steve Bannon, and I think it's tough not to put Steve Bannon there. Interestingly, Trump didn't make it. He only got one vote. And Ted Cruz only got one vote. So let's do the poll as quickly as we can on the live chat. So your options are Stephen Miller, Stephen Bannon, Chuck Schumer, and Mitch McConnell, okay? So who's the biggest ghoul or goblin in DC? I didn't want to put Netanyahu in there. It's a perfectly good choice, but he got one vote in this really quick live thing that we're doing here. And plus, that it's too easy. I mean, who doesn't despise Benjamin Netanyahu? Oh, right, all of American media and all American politicians. The rest of the world like loathes Benjamin Netanyahu. But everybody in Washington is like, oh, Benjamin Netanyahu. I told you earlier today, somebody wrote an article saying like, can you believe how anti-Semitic Mamdani is? He wants to arrest Netanyahu just for the crime of genocide. What's the big deal? They don't even realize how bigoted they are. Okay, all right, Cicero wrote in response to Eclectic's post about Canary Mission, this sounds like a really good idea. Would you have any interest in finding volunteers to get some of that information at least some point in the future? Yeah, Cicero, we're definitely interested. By the way, these are at tyt.com/ideas. And so Eclectic comes up with a Canary Mission idea, and then Cicero responds, and you could all respond underneath. And that's a place where we collect those ideas and how to work on those ideas. So that's tyt.com/ideas. I'm gonna read one last one here as we're running out of time. So my idea is difficult, and this is from Delbert about the boycott, divestment, and sanction movement. So my idea is difficult and we need a lot of help. I think I have a way we can stop states and even the federal government from passing laws preventing BDS. The Supreme Court has already ruled that money is protected speech under the First Amendment. How can a local or federal government then say how you can spend money in a political way? So it would appear to me that any law preventing divestment would be unconstitutional on its face. He's got more, but hold on, let me just stop there. Delbert, that's a terrific idea and point. In fact, if I'm going to ask Larry Lessig, who's one of the top constitutional law professors and scholars and campaign finance reform experts in the country, yeah, wait a minute, how can they possibly pass these BDS laws punishing speech, which actually is speech? First of all, it's a massive core First Amendment violation. but also given Citizens United, where they say you can give infinite bribes to politicians, and that's just speech. So, okay, I'm speaking and acting with my dollars to divest from Israel. Like, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to think that. You're not allowed to use your money doing that. Remember, First Amendment asterisks, unless you're criticizing Israel, in which case will eliminate you from the national conversation and ruin your life. Okay, the last part of the message was, multiple rulings have been made protecting money as speech, so would that not be enough precedent to overturn these BDS laws? I know the only way that we can stop Israel in this genocide is to hurt them financially. Hopefully a lawyer sees this and can shed more light or insight on this topic. This is definitely a long shot, but I would be willing to try anything to stop the genocide. I love that, brother, thank you. And by the way, yeah, this would hurt Israel financially. And that's why you notice that they're not passing laws at the state level on other criticism of Israel, this, that, the other thing. But when it comes to economically boycotting Israel, over 30 American states said, forget Florida, forget whichever state I'm in, I don't care about our citizens at all. We, as the legislators of this state, are here to loyally serve Israel. So they passed a law banning you from boycotting Israel. And if you do, they take away your government contracts, they take away your livelihood, and destroy American citizens that have legitimate critique of Israel. So, do I want to hurt Israel financially for the genocide that they've done so they will stop the genocide? Of course I do. Any decent moral person would want to. But the Israelis are like, oh, that's so anti-Semitic. Just because we took away their lives, you want to take away our money? No, that's the most evil, immoral thing you could do, is to take Israeli money. You're not allowed to do that. Ban the Americans. And they have. In 30 different states have banned Americans from criticizing Israel. If you do it, Ramesya Öztürk, the Turkish PhD student that was arrested at Tufts, she had written an op-ed in favor of boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning Israel. They're like, how dare you suggest something perfectly normal? You're under arrest. We're gonna deport you on behalf of Israel. By the way, Israel doesn't control America. Okay, so do we have a winner? Others wrote in Ben Gavir, but that's too much. That's not DC, that's Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Oh, there we are, okay. Oh, Stephen Miller in a landslide. Man, Ben has gotta be embarrassed that at 5%. Schumer got 6%, all right, Representative McConnell's still hanging in there with 12%. But man, overwhelming winner. First time Stephen Miller's ever won anything. Congrats, Stephen. Oh no, are you gonna deport me for saying that? Are you gonna denaturalize me? Oh no, a poll showed that people don't like Stephen Miller. They think he's a ghoul and a goblin. That's it, we're gonna denaturalize you and deport you. How dare you criticize the Millers? Don't you know the Millers are the elites in this country? They're the nobles, the nobility, the lords and ladies. Wait, what is Karen Miller or Katie Miller, whatever her name is? What does she have to do with the government? She's not in the government. Yes, but she's married to one of the lords in the Trump administration and working for Israel. So you have offended her. You will now be banished on behalf of the Millers and Israel, said the guys who are for America first. Okay, now the Millers have 2 reasons to ban me. Thanks a lot, guys, I appreciate it. Okay, we didn't get any of the treats, sorry, we ran out of time. But you know what, I'll give you guys a treat in the bonus episode for the members. So I'll tell you 2 Halloween stories from my past, slightly heartwarming, I hope you like them. I've told bad stories about Halloween in the past. Oh, you know what, I'll throw in a 3rd story because we skipped a bunch of bonus episodes today. I'll make it quick. Members, we love you guys. Thank you for making all of this possible. So if you want to be a member, you hit the join button below on YouTube or tyt.com/join anywhere else. So we'll go to members only now. Love you guys, happy Halloween. And we're in the members only section. Man, that's amazing how that happens. This whole not taking a break thing going to members only is tripping me out. Okay, so 3 Halloween stories for the price of 1. One is one you've heard before, we'll start with that one. Some of you have heard it, of course, most of you haven't. So I come to this country, don't know what Halloween is. We get to around, so we came in the very end of December in 1978. So my first Halloween's in October of 79. God, I'm old. Anyways, And I don't know what this Halloween thing is. We didn't have Halloween in Turkey. And I'm like, so what is Halloween? And they're like, it's a holiday where you get dressed up as different things. I'm like, oh, yeah, it could be fun. Okay, got you. And then what happens? Then you go to other people's houses. I'm like, oh. And I thought like, well, in the old days in Turkey, we'd go to people's houses and you, by the way, there is a Muslim holiday where you get candy. So it's not that crazy, but it was kind of shitty candy, to be honest. There's no Twix bars or anything like that. Simple little candy. But then we go to the family's houses and we get bored to death. They're like at the great uncle's house, the great aunt's house, etc. I'm like, all right, go to people's house. Oh, so when we go to people's house, how long do we stay? They're like, no, you don't stay at all. You just knock on the door, and then they give you free candy. I'm like, where's the catch? This country's too good. They have a holiday where they just go to everybody, just give me your candy, and then they give it to you. Like, that's amazing. So then one of my best friends, Kenan, his mom, Lisa, is an angel, and she knows I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get a Halloween outfit, and my parents don't know either. So she makes me an entire Halloween outfit. And it's the one I described before where it's the prisoner with the, well, might be fitting soon with the Millers. But anyways, the pinstripes prisoner suit, a little ball and chain made out of paper mache, and a little hat too with the stripes. And I gotta tell you, as a little 9-year-old kid, I was super proud of that outfit. And I was so proud that I fit in. Because imagine you're a 9-year-old immigrant kid, you barely speak English, and you don't know what the hell's going on. And this angel of a woman makes an outfit for you so you fit in. And then I forget, I think I came in second. I know I didn't win and I knew I was in the top 3. I think I came in second. So I won an award at the school for best outfit. Oh, I was ecstatic. So there are real angels in the world, and Lisa was one of them. So that's story number 1, and I had the greatest time. And it's another reason why I love this country. First Halloween was phenomenal, unbelievable. Second Halloween, same thing, and on and on. So then another Halloween story about football was, so now I'm in high school, and we had a practice. Mischief night, yeah. That's weird. We had a practice before the game. That's unusual. Oh, maybe because it was a JV game. I don't remember details now, but I'm pretty sure the day before we had a practice and it was like eerie. The cloud cover came in, so there was like a fog, and then I at some point I fell and there was a rock and it cut my hand. And it was like this huge scar on my hand, which I still have. John, I'll show you afterwards. It's kind of, okay, can you guys see it? No, of course not, don't be ridiculous. You can't see it from there. But if you look at it, you go, oh my God, yeah, that's that giant scar right there. And so that was on Mischief Night, like a rock tore it, right? So then on Halloween, and I forget if I'm combining 2 different stories, but anyway, on Halloween, we had this is definitely 2 different stories. We had a game on Halloween night. So I had this giant scar. We had a game on Halloween night. We kicked ass. And I don't know, I love every part of this country. So I thought that was so cool that I had this cool scar on a Halloween game and we murdered the other guys. So, I told you a couple of times we got bagels thrown at us because our school was like half Jewish. And somebody asked me some random question today online on X, and I told that story a little bit. And I said, but since we were an excellent team, we took those bagels and shoved it down their fucking throats. Okay, so look, I'm a barbarian. That's one thing that Randy finds slightly right about. And so I loved playing middle linebacker. And so I liked that I had a wound as we were playing. I liked that it was on Halloween. I think the other story related to football was one time I didn't have any time after practice to go and get an outfit. So I just stayed in my football uniform. A bunch of us did, like 3-4 of us did. And we went trick-or-treating in the neighborhood near our high school. But then I realized, wait, we're in high school. So there's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about this. Bunch of like, I don't remember if we were 16, 17, whatever we were. These giant guys, one of them was a lineman, huge. We go trick or treat, and we're in our actual uniforms with actual dirt on us, and we collected the candy in our helmets. Come on, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Then there were the hookup stories later when we became grown-ups on Halloween, but I probably shouldn't tell those. Okay, last thing. Guys, one of the reasons I love Halloween is because it's perfect for everyone. When you're a kid, you love it. When you're single and you go to Halloween parties, those are the best. But again, those are the stories I can't tell you. So that's awesome. And then when you're a parent and your kids are excited about dressing up and going out and getting candy and stuff, that's also awesome. So winners all around. Speaking of which, I gotta go trick-or-treating with my kids right now. So I love you guys. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great day. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.